Hello. Here's my camera stand. It's coming along. As you can see, it's getting better and better. And I'm uptaking this here. This has been sitting on the other table on the other side of the room. It has been sitting there for several months because I was too busy with my other stuff, with my Play-Doh formations. So now it's time for me to finish this. And as you can see, it's almost finished. And then I have another one. You know, those are actually, it's a packaging material. It is styrofoam, and I added this eye with some kind of putty clay that I had. Hard. That is more hard. That's really hard. It's almost like hard plastic. And it's very nice because that really glues to it. So that's fantastic. So I gave this an eye, and it looks almost like an Octodog now again. So anyway, I got these two colors for that purpose. I'm gonna be working with this color to finish this color up. This color job, and it looks almost a little bit like that pasta sauce. It's very nice. Not quite, but almost the same, the Italian pasta sauce. So, okay, here it is. Listening to Jiddu Krishnamurti and David Bohm as always. They're constantly talking in my room, non-stop. I have it on video playlist. That's awesome. I worked hard today. My hands are almost getting sore now. But my hands have colors on it, so because I always do a lot of garden work and maintenance and cleaning and stuff like that. And so my hands gotten used to it, but today I worked extra much. But that's okay, it's good work. I like that. I like to move things ahead. You know, that's how we have to see, that's how we have to look at things, that's how we have to consider making things, moving things forward, working on something, and not see it as a burden or anything. And if you work for someone else, it's not as rewarding. I know that. I have been in that situation as well. So, and I know that it is not very rewarding. You don't really get to see the results of it or experience the, I didn't get to live there in the houses that I cleaned. So I didn't get to enjoy the cleanliness of the cleaning job that I have done, and you can't, you know, I personally, just talking from my own experience, I could not work longer than 2 years in jobs like that. So that's what I did. I worked in cleaning jobs for 2 years. I had about 3 cleaning jobs that I was going to every week. Like, I don't know. Yeah, about 3 days a week or something. And I'm glad I didn't go every day, but even that was very harsh, and it was tedious. And even though I really loved the the women I worked for. Really loved. I was lucky. Got the job through Santa Monica College, through the psychology department, and each of these women had studied psychology, and one was a psychologist and counselor, marriage counselor. It's funny how my mother is a divorce lawyer, and I worked for a marriage counselor, trying to fix the marriages back together. I met a real great man through my mother. My mother was helping him get the divorce, and we made friends with him, a real rich man, and I really liked him so much. I don't know if he liked me, but I liked him so much. Not because he was rich. I liked him so much. But for some reason, oh, I messed up here. For some reason, because I was only in my early 20s, it didn't occur to me that he also had a girlfriend, but it didn't occur to me that maybe he would like me or something. I should have tried. I should have tried. My life would have been completely different if I had married this man. Oh my gosh. I think he liked me. He told me that he voted for the Green Party too. He's a whole lot older than I am. And I thought that was very cute that this older guy voted for the Green Party, even though he's a real rich businessman, and they usually have different political interests. So even at 21, it seemed to me kind of strange. So, but I really appreciated that. Back then I was a Green Party voter, before I realized how all these things tie together. So, before I realized that the Green Parties are infiltrated as well. Yeah, particularly the one here in the United States with Peter Camaro. Peter Camaro, whatever his name is. That total entrepreneur, who infiltrated himself into the Green Party, running for president under the Green Party. That was in 1999. Yeah. So, but since then there have been other infiltrators coming and going in the Green Party. So it's not so green anymore. But after I started to get into politics, and started studying this whole thing, how it works with the infiltrators and all of this, I realized that you can't go for any particular party at all. It just doesn't work that way. And besides that, I don't agree with everything that the Green Party starts to mix in with, like immigration issues that should not be anything the Green Party should have any saying over, So, yeah, in that sense, I am not a liberal. I am not a conservative. So that's for sure. That's a fact. I am green. Yes, big time. I'm hugely green. But I don't go along with all of these real ridiculous socializing type of things. So real ridiculous, like 3-strike laws and all of this incredibly idiotic stuff. So that I don't go along with. I'm a 1-strike one strike reactionary. That's what I am. Sorry about that. You know, if you do a strike on something, I mean, what I mean by that, if you do a criminal offense, you should be booked. Sorry about this, you know. That's a fact. This is not something that someone should take offense to, because if people do a criminal act, they should be prepared to be booked. They should be prepared to that society is not going to stand for that and not give you another chance, another chance, another chance, and it will just go on and 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 on. Another chance and another chance. And in the meantime, they hurt animals, old ladies, children, and so on. So no, sorry. No way. I'm in no way gonna stand for that. And it wouldn't matter who that is. I don't care who is the offender. I don't care. I don't go by political correctness. You know. Just because someone has psychological issues, or they feel unempowered, or their ancestors have been mistreated, or they have been genocided, or whatever people try to put before them as sort of as a buffer zone, you know, to get easier sentences. Whatever they try to do, it doesn't work for me. Sorry. I don't care what skin color someone is. I really, in with anything, I don't care whether it's a lover or a criminal or someone who sells things or someone who is a crook, or it doesn't matter to me. It wouldn't matter. Just because someone is this or that skin color, I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm not gonna, now I have to be lenient with my judgment. No, no, I'm against affirmative action. I think this is hideous, absolutely hideous. Hasn't helped anyone, it just made things worse, as you can see for yourself. And there are some black intellectuals who back me up on that, for sure. All of this, you know, that's really what I wanted to talk about today. All of this unempowerment stuff that I see that's going on, for example, on Mike, the Living Free channel on YouTube. Mike travels with his dog, and he is an indigo soul like myself. And sometimes he says things straight out. He says things the way they are. And sometimes, you know, beware if you say something that's the truth. It might hit someone's ego. even if it's a fact. You know, if it hits someone's ego, oh boy, then you're in big trouble. Then the trolls are gonna come after you, and that's what they did with Mike and Eric. Eric Jacobs was his traveling with his cat. That's what they did to these people, the trolls, coming after them because they happened to say something that's just factual. Oh my goodness, you know, and it's all out of unempowerment. Unempowerment. It's incredibly awful. And all this religiousness, you know, if I say take your burqa off, the anger I get from women who wear burqas. I was like, hello. I mean, You don't want me to open up your handcuffs? You have the key here. Here's the key for your handcuffs. Here, you don't want me? You terrible person, while they're having their hands like this. You terrible person. You want to open my handcuffs. You terrible person. You don't respect my religion. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Unbelievable, you know. I mean, does this get any more ironic? Or oh, the best is the feminists, you know. The white feminists from the Western world, you know, rallying against men, and then when they are confronted with someone like Lawrence Southern, who asks them, feminism or Islam? The question, I think that's what she asked. the, the facial expressions on these people's faces. Like, feminism or Islam? Yeah, that's a real question. You know, you want feminism or do you want Islam? Because two together isn't working. I hope that makes some sense. No. Oh boy, that's amazing. But we don't want to be politically incorrect. You know, we feminists, we militant feminists, we don't want to be politically incorrect. Oh, this is so incredibly ridiculous. People, do you ever think about these things? Does this ever register? Oh gosh. Wanting to be liked, you know. Oh yeah, you're wanting to be liked so much. That is the case with most humans. They want to be liked so much that they forget about the facts. They ignore the facts. They don't even want to hear the facts. It's painful. Just want to be politically correct, be popular. You know, yeah, we are all cool. You're a caring person, then you have a steak on the barbecue. Wait a minute. You not caring. Oh, the meat-eating feminist. I'm so caring. Oh, oops, you got a steak cooking there. Or you know, there's even some animal rights activists like, we vegan, and I support them 100%, but they will say, you go vegan, 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 but when it comes to Sharia law, when it comes to Muslims making animals bleed to death on those slaughter racks, bleed to death while they're conscious and alive, suddenly they don't want to look at it. Like, we shouldn't interfere with their, you know, that's what they say. You shouldn't interfere with their traditions. Yeah, that's, oh boy, you know, that I have a real issue with. If you are an animal rights activist, you will not tolerate Sharia law. Sorry. Same goes to feminists and or any kind of justice activist. Any kind of person who is for making the world a better place. You cannot tolerate this. You should not tolerate any religion, for that matter, if you are a kind-hearted, caring person. Can't be tolerating military and people going in the military and making things a whole lot worse in the world. Stirring up wasps' nests in the Middle East and for oil, and so that Lockheed Martin can sell us more oil and has an excuse to invade another country and so on. It's amazing. It's unbelievably criminal. They did. And they brought it on. They brought all of these people then That's what caused all of these people to want to come to the Western world then, because they stir up things in the Middle East and make it so incredibly intolerable for them that they want to come to a Western country. And then they want to come to the Western country. They can only come to the Western country if they sign up with Sharia law to do it as a jihad mission, to kill the very people that welcome them with open arms. And then people say to me, oh, it's not the fault of the religion. It's just some bad apples, Every day something like this is happening. Every day. It's not even on the news, everything. So, yeah, I want people to rethink all of this. Thinking aloud. Instead of being so worried about what some social peer groups say, whether they accept you or not. For example, Christopher Darden, I had a crush on that guy for a while. He was the defense lawyer he was the accusation, I don't know what's that. He was the lawyer to go against the defense lawyer. He was the lawyer to go against O.J. Simpson, and Christopher Darden himself is black. And the shit he got for doing his job, he was a district attorney. Just the shit he took for that. I felt so sorry for him. I felt, and I saw how strong he was. He was very, for a long time, he was very strong. And standing up for himself was very good. But at some point, it got to him. I felt really bad for him. It was awful, the way the black community treated him. Called him Uncle Tom, and they hated him, and they said, you're no longer part of our community, and those kind of things, And I happened to be in the United States at that time already when that was going on. And I felt really bad for him. I just wanted to give him a hug. I wanted to tell them, that he has supporters. He's not standing alone with this. And because it was so politically incorrect to say anything mean or angry against O.J. Simpson just because of his skin color. And particularly not a white person. A white person was really not allowed to say anything against him, because then they would make themselves out to be racist. I really don't care if someone calls me that. I stand up for justice, and if that comes across as racist to someone, so be it. That's their problem, not mine. I know I'm not racist. I stand up for justice. Okay. So my clients are the animals, not some criminals in the world, whether they are white or black. I don't care. I stand up against all criminals, white, Asian, and black, and anything else. Okay, there's stuff going on in every corner of the world, in every corner, in every niche and corner and cranny, and in every single place, country, and so on. And it is really the worst at the equator. That's where it's really the worst. And that's so sad, because I wanted to go to the equator someday. I got myself an inflatable globe. I'll show that another time. I still have to inflate it. That's gonna be a lot of blowing into to inflate that, because that is a huge globe. So, but it is nice because I want to see everything. I want to see where everything is. And I had a globe before, an inflatable one, but not the size. This is much better because it gives more of an overview. It's much more detailed, and the stuff is written in bigger letters. It's really great. I wanted to go so badly one day to Malaysia, but I'm afraid. Just afraid. I don't think I can handle it. I cannot handle a country that butchers dogs and cats. There's no way, no chance. And then I just harmlessly asked under some tourism video for Malaysia, some hotel in Langkawi, and I said, just wanted to know, just a real meek and mild question, just wanted to know, do they still butcher cats and dogs? Just wanted to know because I wanted to go there someday. And a guy comes, they got a Malay guy got real mad, took real bad offense, and said, "We don't do this." And then I see in my activism, I see they do it all the time. My question is, why do people take offense when something is a fact? That's just something that has been puzzling me really seriously. Why would people take offense? Why would people identify themselves with their nation? Should I? I mean, it's like, should I identify myself as a German? I mean, like, Germany has done terrible things. I mean, why should I take offense to that? If someone criticizes Germany, I go, yeah, you're right. Why should I take offense to this? Why should I identify myself with my nation? It's not, I don't have a nation. I'm an Earthian. I mean, I don't get it. I just don't understand these kind of thought processes. I have a real hard time with this. Why someone would take such offense. I have a right to ask that question as a tourist. I need to know before I go somewhere, before I travel somewhere. I happen to care. Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm a caring tourist. Yeah, I have the right to know. And they took real terrible offense. They started to become mean and verbally abusive and all of this, and made me cry even. I made a video crying. That was a while back. Oh god, several years ago. I think it was in 2015. It's insanity, because of identifications. And that's what Jiddu Krishnamurti is talking about with Dr. David Bohm, these constant identifications going on. That people do I think it's because they feel like they have nothing if they don't have their nation or something. I think that's how it must be, sort of. That's a horrible mental state. But that doesn't make any sense. You are a living being. Isn't that good enough? Do you have to be identified through your nation or your soccer team or your basketball team or something? Or through a gang or something? Can't you be just a living being? Yeah. You are a living being. It doesn't matter what skin color you are. You're a living being. We're animals, all of us. Yeah. We're mammals. Why do we have to be identified with something? It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. Make art, you know, and live and breathe, man, breathe. Don't identify yourself with some kind of peer group or something, or nation, or it's ridiculous is that. Don't do that. You are you. I'll never forget this one guy coming to me and he said, you might just qualify as an anti-natalist. I never forget this. This was so incredibly insane. But I felt sorry for that guy. I really did. To think like this, to think in that terminology, in that type of mindset. I said to him, I don't need to belong to a group. I really don't. It's good to have like-minded friends, just as it's more practical, you know. But don't identify yourself with that. It's don't make it into an identity. See, that's what Jiddu Krishnamurti is aiming at with his talks. Not to identify yourself with whatever, you know, or some people they identify themselves as with an image of themselves as I am enlightened. I've seen many of those. That's another lie. No one is enlightened ever. Life is learning. We're learning. It's always about learning. And learning never stops. It never ends. You are where you are and it's good. You are you already. You don't need an identity. So many people that also fall into this trap are identifying themselves with this idea of being elite, of being super elite, or being belonging now to the super duper intellectuals or some bullshit like this. I see it all the time. This happens so quickly with people, you know. Don't do this anymore. You are you. You don't need to wear designer clothes to be liked by someone. That's bullshit. You don't need it. You're you, and that's good the way that is. You don't need to prove anything to yourself or others. You don't need to be a tough guy or go to the military or get an honor or whatever. You know, some of these things are institutionalized. That makes it even worse. Get a badge of honor. That in itself is super duper neurotic. I mean, I want people to think about this. Really think about this. Don't fall into these traps just because it happens to be supported by a heck of a lot of people. That doesn't make it any more legitimate. It just shows us how neurotic society is. Make art and make love instead of war, instead of ideation instead of identification. You're a precious living being, just the way you are. You don't need to belong to a group. Stand on your own two legs. You don't need to be respected by anyone. Okay? People that are constantly after respect, they freak out if they feel disrespected. Just the wrong glance and they feel disrespected. That's unempowerment, okay? That has to stop, that unempowerment. We need to empower ourselves. Life feels better if you can laugh about yourself. Life feels much better if you can let go of that clinging, of that struggle. Men have it extra bad. I understand this. Much more is men think they have to perform all the time. It's an illusion. It's not true. This idea is supported by too many people, and then it becomes institutionalized. Abandon all of this. Free yourselves. Be loving and kind. See the other. Women, they think they have to also fit into this niche, or they're not going to be desired. For women, it's always wanting to be desired. So they have to fit into this, what they think is expected by men. Long fingernails, long hair, makeup, specific clothes that are always girly, always, can never be dorky. This is all idea. It's self-image, it's ego, it's unhappiness, it's misery. That's what that is. Okay, that's it. Be yourselves.